Welcome. I'm glad you've joined me today on your mat. For this practice, we're going to need 2 blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can use books if you have them around your house. So just grab anything that will help you to get a little support. You'll see how we use these during the practice today. So this is our first practice in the alignment-based vinyasa yoga series, and we're going to get right into it. So let's come on to all fours. So when you set up in all fours, let's set up the foundation so that we have a nice strong base. And this is going to feed many of the poses that you learn to do in your practice moving forward. So first of all, let's come with the hands right underneath the shoulders, and the fingers are spread wide. The hands are shoulder width apart, and you want to line the wrist creases up with the front edge of your sticky mat. So spend some time getting this all set up properly. Your knees are under your hips, so hip width distance apart, and let's tuck the toes behind. Tucking the toes behind you will give you some power in your lower legs so that you can hug those outer shins in a little bit. So the heels aren't pulling together, they're just pointing straight up towards the sky, but there's some fire in the lower body so that you can get stable. Even though with yoga we're working on improving flexibility, we also want to stay safe, and we also want to build strength. So flexing and spreading your toes on the back of your pose will help you find that stability. So again, spread your fingers wide, root down into the index finger and the thumb of your hands so that the weight moves more to the inner edges of your hands and not to the outer edges of your hands. That's going to protect your wrists. All right, let's start to find some movement with the breath. So take a deep breath in here. Inhale. And exhale through your nose. We're going to learn more about the breath in the next series. On your next inhale, drop your belly, tilt your sitting bones to the sky, and lift your chin. This is called cow pose. On your breath out, round the back. So go the other way, bring your gaze towards your belly button, breathe out. Let's do that again. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chin, lift your sitting bones. And exhale, dome the back. One last time, inhale. And exhale, round the back. Keep pushing your index fingers down, keep spreading your toes. Good, come to a neutral spine, inhale. Good, we're going to transition into downward facing dog, but we're going to do this from our cow pose. So in that way, we get a nice curve in the low back. So instead of rounding forward, we're going to get a nice tilt of the pelvis up. Okay, so let's start setting up the hands. Inhale, drop the belly, look forward. And with your exhale, hover your knees off the ground. So lift your knees up. You're still in that cow shape. You're sticking your butt up towards the sky. Lots of length in the low back, and then press your hands down and forward. Your weight will start to shift back towards your feet, towards your legs. Chest is pushing toward your thighs. Gaze is still forward at this point. And now we're going to lift the hips up higher. The legs will start to straighten, push the tops of the thighs back, and then drop your head so your gaze is back between your shins. You might start to straighten your legs a little bit, letting your heels come down towards the floor. But if you lose any of the curve in your low back, so if you start to round your back more like this, you want to have bent knees and a straight spine instead of straight legs and a bent spine. So see if you can find that balance of the legs stretching enough, but that nice straight spine. Now from here, one more thing we're going to add is a lift of the upper arm bones up towards the sky, and then a softening of the heart down. So instead of dumping in your shoulders like this, you want to lift up the upper arm bones and soften the space between the shoulder blades, between your heart, and then stretch your legs towards straight. Inhale here, and exhale. Good, one more breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Let's look forward towards the hands and walk your feet slowly to the top of your mat. You can bend your knees. You can take as many steps as you need to until you reach the top of your mat. So this is called Uttanasana, forward fold. Let's spend a minute to get set up here. So the feet are hip-width distance apart, and to find that, you can take your two fists like this and then place them between your feet, and that will give you your hip-width distance apart. Bend your knees as much as you need to reach the floor. So that might be quite a lot, which is fine. Spread your toes. And when you line your feet up parallel, they're like on train tracks. Line your feet up like they're on train tracks parallel. And your second toes should be parallel to each other. So instead of looking at the outer edges of your feet, which might not be a good way for us to judge parallel, you can use the second toes to line up the feet. Then from there, you can place your hands on the ground, or here's where you can use your blocks. Okay, so if you're having trouble reaching the floor, you can always use the blocks. The blocks are adjustable. This is the highest height. You could go to the middle height or the lowest height. So whichever height you need, I'm going to work with the middle height today. Good. So from here, we're going to drop the head and fold. So this is our forward fold, Uttanasana. Big stretch along the back of the spine and the back of the legs. Spread your toes, hug those outer shins in so you have that same energy in the low body as we did in our cat-cow. From here, lift your heart and your spine, come onto a flat back. So fingertips stay down on the blocks, or you could bring them to your shins. That's another option. Sitting bones reaching back. This is called Ardha Uttanasana, half lift. And exhale, fold. Let's move with the breath. Inhale, lengthen your spine, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. One more time like that. Inhale, lengthen, half lift. And exhale, fold. Now to rise up to stand, bring your hands to your hips. Squeeze your elbows up towards the sky so that your shoulders come onto the back. Root into your feet, press down, and inhale, lift up to a standing position. So here we are in Tadasana. So feet are, again, that hip-width distance apart, parallel. Lift and spread your toes. This is especially important when you're building strength at the beginning of your practice, to find that spreading of the toes, so you find that same energy in the legs. Good. Spin your palms towards the front of the room. Inhale, lift your shoulders up towards your ears slightly. And exhale, relax your shoulders onto the back. Good. We're going to move with a breath here. So inhale, reach your arms up, shoulder width apart. Maybe your gaze lifts up between your hands. Exhale, bend your knees and bring your hands to your thighs like a football player. So sitting bones are reaching back. You find that same lift through the spine. With your next exhale, reach forward and place your hands on your blocks and fold Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift, lengthen your spine, flat back, sitting bones reaching back. And exhale, fold over your legs. Again, bending your knees as much as you need to. Bring your hands to your hips, squeeze your elbows up towards the sky. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, hands together at your heart, Anjali Mudra. Inhale here, lift your heart towards your thumbs. And exhale, release your arms to your sides, mountain pose, Tadasana, palms spinning towards the front of the room. Inhale, reach the arms up. This is called Urdhva Hastasana, gaze up. Exhale, this time swan dive, hinge at the hips. So you're reaching out and all the way down, hands come to the block, and fold over your legs, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, fold. Hands to your hips, squeeze the elbows towards the sky. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands at your heart, Anjali Mudra. Inhale. And exhale, release your arms. Good. One more time through like that. Inhale, reach your arms up high, reach for the sky. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold. Swan dive over your legs all the way down. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Uttanasana, hands on your blocks. Inhale, lengthen your spine, flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, fold. This time to come up, we're going to do a reverse swan dive. So reach the arms out and all the way up. Gaze is up towards the sky as you reach up. And exhale, gather the hands together at your heart, Anjali Mudra. All right, we're going to move into some standing poses. So we're going to move the blocks off to the side. We won't need them for this next little part. And come to stand in the middle of your mat. We're going to learn a few poses now that are in the standing pose series. So this will get the heart moving a little bit and get into the legs, really start to open the hips a little bit. So bring your hands together at your heart. You're standing with your feet together in the middle of your mat. Inhale here. And exhale, bend your knees and jump out wide. You could always step out wide if that's too much. Okay, so to get set up here, you want your feet to be pretty wide. So if you bring your arms out into a T, you can use your eyes to make sure that your ankles are right under your wrists, and that's how you know that you're wide enough. Stretch your arms out. Okay. Bring your hands to your hips, and then turn your right foot out. So we're preparing for Warrior Two, our first pose. Legs are straight to begin with, and the right foot, your front foot here, that heel is bisecting the arch of your back foot. So make a little line and make sure that that is lined up properly. Okay. Now, the legs are reaching out. Reach your arms out. Inhale, lift your chest up. Gaze over your right hand, and with your exhale, bend your right knee to a square. Okay, see how low you can get. Really important to get down deep. So it might be hard in the beginning to build strength here, but it's better for your hip to be down low like this. So take a look at that right knee and make sure that the right knee isn't pitching in. It'll have a tendency to do that. So draw the right knee out, scoop the right hip underneath you so that you can see just the big toe on the right foot. And then reach your arms out again. Inhale here. Exhale, sit a little bit deeper. Nice, strong back leg. Good. We're going to flip our front palm. So flip the front palm. We're moving into reverse warrior. Inhale. Reach the right arm up, and the left arm will come down to the left leg, resting lightly on that back leg. Turn the belly and the chest towards the sky. Good. Big side stretch on the right side of the body. Keep bending through the right shin. Good. Take one more inhale here. And then with your exhale, come forward, right elbow on the right thigh. Reach your left arm up. This is called extended side angle, or Parsabottanasana. Good. We're going to piece those two poses together with the breath. So inhale, reverse warrior, reach back. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. And exhale, extended side angle. Your next inhale brings you back to Warrior Two. Sit down deep in that front thigh. And then exhale, straighten both legs, bring your hands to your hips and parallel your feet. Let's take that on the other side. So turn your left toes out, your right foot stays pointing forward, and then line your front heel, which is now your left heel, up with the arch of your back foot. Inhale, reach your arms out, lift your chest, squeeze your legs. Exhale, bend down deep, Warrior Two. Take a look at that front knee. See if it's pitching in. Draw the left knee out to the left. Wrap the left hip under so you can lift up through the belly. Look down. See if you can see that big toe on the left foot. Inhale here. And exhale. Sit down deep to a square. Flip your front palm. Inhale, reverse warrior. Good. Sit down deep. So keep that bend in the left shin. Right hand is light on the right leg. Good. One more breath here. Enjoy the stretch. Good. And exhale, extended side angle. Left elbow to left thigh. Reach your right arm up. Inhale, reverse warrior. So we're starting to move with the breath. Exhale, extended side angle. One more time. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, pour forward. Good. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, straighten both legs. Bring your hands to your hips, parallel your feet. And then if you'll toe your feet together. Okay, shake out your legs. That's a lot of work when you're building strength to hold those 3 poses together for a few breaths like that, but you will start to build strength. Okay, step to the top of your mat. We're going to learn now Warrior 1 plus tree pose put together. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll start at the top of the mat, and we're going to take the left leg back and step it way back on the mat so that you're coming into a lunge. Okay, so when you step back, you might feel like you're a little bit off balance. So just take a moment to get balanced. Heel toe that right foot over to the right side of your mat, and then turn your back heel down. So your back foot is on an angle, about a 45-degree angle. Bring your hands to your hips, and let's straighten both legs to start. Okay, so you have a nice wide stance in the feet, so you're not on a tightrope. Feet are about hip width distance apart, so you can get steady and stable. And for this pose, the hips are pointing towards the front of the mat. Now squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. Notice how that's going to draw the right hip back and pull the left hip forward a little bit. And the ribs are pointing towards the front of the room. See if you can breathe into the back of the body and keep that ballooning action in the back body as you breathe in and lift the arms up. Take an inhale here. And then with your exhale, sit down deep into the front thigh. So again, looking for that squareness in the front leg. It might be a little bit more difficult because it's a big stretch on the back leg. Good, inhale here. And exhale. Inhale, maybe you gaze up between your hands. And exhale. Good, bring your gaze forward, bring your hands to your hips. Come onto the ball of your back foot. We're going to move forward into tree pose, but we're going to do it nice and slowly. So the weight is going to move into the right foot. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, spring off that left foot and bring the ball of the left foot to the floor next to your right foot. Okay. I'm going to turn to face you so you can see this next pose. So we're moving into Rikshasana tree pose. So you're on the ball of your left foot, and then we're just going to turn the left knee out. So you could stay here with your ankle, your left ankle, press your left heel pressing against your right ankle, or you might bring your left foot to the inner calf, or you might reach the hand down and pull the foot into the inner thigh. Press the legs together, squeeze the legs together, see if you can find your balance, hands on your hips, and then it's really important to find a drishti here, a gaze point. So find something that's not moving to look at and keep your gaze there. Keep it steady. Maybe bring your hands together at your heart. Good. And then release your foot down. Release your hands down. Stand in mountain pose. Okay, so we're going to do that on the second side. So you'll still be facing the front of your mat. So I'll come to that same position. So step your right foot back. Find that nice hip width distance stance. So heel toe the left foot over to the left a little bit. Right foot is turned on a 45-degree angle. Nice wide stance. And then straighten both legs, hands on your hips. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. Left hip is moving back, right hip is moving forward. Fill up through the back body with your breath. Inhale, reach the arms up. And then exhale, bend your front knee. Bend that left knee to a square. Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. Squeeze your legs together. Left hip is moving back, right hip moving forward. Lift up. Maybe your gaze lifts. Sit down into the front shin. One more breath in. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Bring your hands to your hips. Come onto the ball of your back foot. Get your balance here. Get ready to spring forward into tree pose. Inhale here. And exhale, step off the back foot. Bring the ball of your right foot to the floor next to your left foot. And then turn the right knee out. Find tree pose. So either right heel is at your ankle, left ankle, or to the left inner calf. Or you reach down and hold on with your hand around your ankle. Pull the foot into the inner thigh. Find your drishti again, your gaze point. Breath is nice and calm. Maybe bring your hands together at your heart. So one of the things that we practice in yoga is to stay calm during a challenging situation. So maybe you found that a little bit challenging Keep breathing, softening the features of your face, even out your breath. And make sure that your thoughts aren't turning angry. And if they are, then you might need to back off. Bring the foot down and come to a previous stage. Maybe even resting with the foot on the floor. Good, and release the foot down. Nice. All right, we're going to flow down to the floor. So hands together at your heart. We're going to start with that half sun salutation, and we're going to wind up back in downward facing dog. So let's practice that. Hands at your heart. Inhale here, lift your heart. Exhale, release your arms, Tadasana, palms spinning towards the front of the room. Inhale, reach the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold over your legs, Uttanasana. You can use your blocks if you need to. Feet are hip width distance apart. Drop your head. Inhale, lengthen your spine, flat back. And exhale, fold. Good. This is our transition back to downward facing dog. So bring your hands next to your feet. Bend your knees a lot. Step your right leg back into a nice long lunge. So right heel is reaching back into a nice long lunge. And then place your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Okay. So make sure your hands are spread wide, fingers are spread wide, feet are hip width distance apart. Gaze back between your shins. Spin your sitting bones up towards the sky, so bend your knees if you need to, getting that nice long line of energy through the spine. Draw your ribs in. Lift your shoulders up a little bit, upper arm bones lift, and soften your heart towards the floor. Inhale here. And exhale. Bring your knees to the floor. And then separate your knees wide. Bring your big toes together at the back of the mat. Press your hands down and forward. We're coming into child's pose. So a couple options with your head. You could stack your fists and make a tower. Rest your forehead on your knees. If your forehead comes easily to the floor, you might reach your arms out in front of you and drop your head. Or you might want to bring your hands alongside your hips, maybe holding onto your feet, and drop your head. Just relax here in child's pose. This is a great pose to come to if you need to rest at any point in your practice. Really calming and relaxing. Good, let's come forward into a seat. So stretch your arms forward, lift up onto all fours. We're going to cross the ankles, roll over the ankles, and then scoot forward. So we're scooting forward so that we have room to lie back. We're going to come back onto the back now. So feet are hip width distance apart. We're going to come down with a little bit of core work. So feet are hip width distance apart. Anchor your big toes down. Inhale, reach your heart forward. Exhale, round the back and draw your belly towards your spine, navel towards your spine. Come down just a little bit. Good. Inhale, reach forward, lift up through your heart. Exhale, round down just a little bit. Good. One more time. Reach forward. Inhale. And exhale. Come down to the back on a count of 10. 10, 9, 8. Keep your big toes rooted. 7, 6, 5. Stay with it. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax. So bring your feet in closer towards your hips. We're going to do one bridge pose. So feet are hip width distance apart, parallel to each other like on train tracks. And then bend your elbows with your fingers pointing up towards the sky like robot arms. Take an inhale all the way up to the bridge of your nose. And exhale all the breath out. Navel pulling towards your spine. One more breath in. Inhale. Exhale all the breath out, and then at the bottom of your exhale, lift your hips up into bridge pose. So hips are lifting. Keep your gaze straight up and down. You can keep pressing your elbows down into the floor. Lift your chest up. You might start to straighten your arms and interlace your hands underneath your back, and then roll one shoulder and then the other shoulder underneath. Good. Keep pressing your big toes down and squeezing your inner thighs towards each other so your thighs are more towards parallel. Lift your chest towards your chin. Press the back of your head against the floor so you have a nice curve in the back of the neck. Good. One more breath here. Inhale and exhale. Slowly release your shoulders one at a time and roll your back down to the floor. Take your feet wide. Bring your knees together. Rest your hands on your pelvis and breathe. We're going to do 2 recline poses before Shavasana. So heel toe your feet back to hip width distance apart. Hands next to you. Pick up your right knee, flex your right foot, and cross your right ankle over your left knee. Make sure your right foot is flexed and the toes are spread so that you protect your knee and the stretch goes into your hips. Now from here, bring both knees in towards your chest. This is called Reclined Pigeon. You can bring your hands around either the back of your left hamstring, if you can reach. If you can't reach, you could always use a strap. Or you can bring your hands around the front of the left shin. Keep flexing and spreading your right toes, but you can relax the left toes down. Draw the knees closer in towards your chest. If you need more sensation in the right leg, you can use your right elbow against the right knee to gently move the right knee away from your body. So the whole right leg is externally rotating in the hip socket. Good. Release that leg. Uncross your legs and let's switch sides. So pick up your left foot, left knee, flex and spread the left toes, cross the left ankle over the right knee, and then bring the knees in towards your chest. Again, find the interlacing of your hands behind the hamstring or around the front of the right shin. Flex the left toes, spread the toes. And then again, maybe using your left elbow against the left knee if you need more sensation. This might be plenty. Wherever you are, you'll know when to stop. This is called, also called Sukhi Randrasana. That's the Sanskrit name. Also called figure 4 pose sometimes because we're making the shape of a 4 with the legs. Good. Release both feet to the floor. Take your arms out to the side in a T. You might find that cactus arms feels better with your elbows bent. Feet are hip width distance apart. Take an inhale. And exhale. Just let your knees fall to the right. Recline twist. Your gaze can move towards the left, so upper body spins to the left, lower body to the right. Inhale back to the center, and exhale, take your knees over to the left. Gaze to the right, relax. Inhale back to the center, and let's release into Shavasana. So bring the arms next to your hips, stretch one leg out, and then the other leg out. To our final relaxation posture, where we soak up the benefits of the practice. So there's no effort here. This is called corpse pose. So we assume a position where there's nothing to do, no effort, no attention on the body, no attention even on your breath. Relax. If you can stay here for longer, please do so. It's a wonderful posture to stay in as long as you can. If you need to move on with your day, start to find some movement in your fingers and your toes. Bend your knees gently. And then roll over onto your right side. You can cradle your head in your right arm. Stay here for about 2 breaths. And then using your arms to come up into a seat. Let your head come up last. Cross your ankles in Sukhasana. Easy seat. Hands to your thighs. And then bring your hands together at the center of your heart. Check in with how you feel compared to how you felt at the beginning of the practice. And bow your head down to your heart in an expression of gratitude for coming to your mat, for practicing, and for breathing. So you can start to cultivate this muscle of awareness. Awareness of your breath, awareness of the pieces of your body, awareness of where your thoughts are, so that you can cultivate staying calm in the midst of a stressful situation. To the light in you, I bow. Namaste.